Hello everybody, welcome to It's a Camping Theme. My name is Paul, and for this video you join me on a short walk. It is bitterly cold. It is February the 14th, 2023, and because it's so cold I'm having to wear hat and gloves. I'm bitterly cold. Anyhow, in this video I thought I would discuss my reasons why I predominantly use wild camping or hiking tents for use that is predominantly in campsites. So, without further ado, my first reason why I believe you should use a wild camping tent for your campsite ventures is down to real estate in your car, be it the boot, the back seat or the front seat. You really want to travel as light as possible. And this is down to the fact that when I first went camping on my own, I literally filled it with everything barring the kitchen sink. And I found that the conditions were cramped as I drove to my location, which was about 100 miles away. And you can fill up the boot really easy, really in no time at all. So that's my first reason for using a wild camping tent, is reducing the pack size inside your car and traveling a little bit more freely. And my second reason why I believe you should use a wild camping tent or hiking tent as opposed to a family tent is flexibility. Say you're like me and you live miles upon miles upon miles. I mean, it's like 200 miles to the Lake District from where I live. A 4-hour drive, and yeah, getting anywhere remote for wild camping is it's going to be a bit of an adventure, but let's put it that way. So I want to make the most of that trip. So what I tend to do, if you can put yourselves in my shoes, which is size 11 UK by the way, and I tend to go to the Lake District. It's a 200-mile drive. I usually go in the night, and I will go to a campsite for 3, maybe 4 nights. Now, in one example, I could take a large tent, and great, but at the end of that 3 or 4 nights I'm going to be staying at that campsite, I pack that tent into the car, go home, that's the end of my adventure. Or what I could do is take a small, lightweight tent, something like the Nature Hike Cloud Peak 2 or Opalis 3, something along those sort of that nature, and just take the one tent. And then when I get to the end of my 3 or 4 night duration at my campsite, I can then pack it all away into my rucksack, put all my wild camping gear in there. Some of it I would use at the campsite anyway, but then I would then go and move my car from the campsite to a car park it securely overnight, and then I can go wild camping. Now, another example I could use is I could take a small, lightweight tent as well as the large family tent, but that just takes up so much room in the car again, like I said in my reason number 1. So just take one tent and then you can extend your trip. You can spend time in a town like Keswick or somewhere like that, and you can go camping for 3 or 4 nights, and then you can go wild camping for an extra night or 2 and see a different side to that area that you're visiting, which is awesome. So yeah, that's my reason number 2, is flexibility. And for reason number 3, the sun has come out. Actually, no, that isn't reason number 3, but I would point out because it feels lovely. And I'm actually getting a bit hot and bothered now, so I'll take the hat off. But for reason number 3 is price and location. Now, I say price and location. Price, I'm looking at the pitch size, because in some campsites and some places, you pay obviously more for a larger tent, because you're taking up more real estate on their plot of land. Obviously, you need to pay more for that privilege. Now, for the tent, the prices can vary. Let's be honest, you can buy a wild camping tent for, get this, 6, 7, 8, 9, £1,000. And I'm not really talking about that in this instance, because there are some tents that you can use for wild camping that are around about £150, like the Van Gogh Banshee 200 Pro, or you could use something like the Nature Hike Cloud Peak 2, around about £180. That's a 2-person tent, or the Nature Hike Opalis 3, which is a 3-person tent, which retails around about £250. So there are some good, decent tents out there for reasonable, good prices. But for pitch size, yes, you will find the fact that in some locations and some campsites you're going to be paying more for a larger tent for a larger pitch size, because you're paying more for that plot of land. Makes sense, doesn't it? Now, location. I'm going to take the Keswick Camping and Caravanning Club that I've used several times and absolutely love it. If I was to take a large family tent, then I wouldn't be able to get the view that I would really want, because when you check in, they ask you or confirm to you the size and height of your tent. And that is because at that particular campsite, they've got a wonderful view over Derwent Water, overlooking Cat Bells. And I can just picture it in my mind now, remembering when I unzipped the tent and looked out at the glorious view. Now, if I was taking a large tent, I wouldn't have been able to camp there. I would have been further back, probably not had a nicer view when I woke up in the morning. And believe you me, that makes a world of difference. So, yeah, by having that smaller tent, a lower profile tent, I was able to camp near the shoreline, because obviously it's their unique selling point. You know, you can camp literally at the water's edge. Now, if I was to take a large family tent, a high tent where I can stand up in, I'm going to be obstructing the view for everybody else, and that's not good. So by having a smaller tent, it meant I could camp near the shoreline, wake up to an unobstructed view overlooking Derwent Water, Cat Bells, and it was incredible. So that's my third reason why I think you should purchase or use a wild camping tent over a family tent. So there we are, my 3 reasons why I predominantly use wild camping or hiking tents opposed to large family tents. But don't forget, I predominantly travel alone. So there are pros and cons with each variety of tent out there. If you are maybe getting on a bit in years like I am, I'm no spring chicken after all, then yes, I can understand the appeal of a large family tent, even if you are traveling alone. Or maybe you have a bit of a bad back and maybe don't want to be crawling into a tent. Again, I sometimes suffer with a bad back too, hence the reason why I have used the Keshwar Air Seconds 4.1 on my own. And the reason why I went for that tent was because it was an air beam construction. It meant that I could set it up on my own with that extra space. But again, there are pros and cons to using that tent, like I just stated a moment or two ago. The fact of the matter is, what you've got to look at is think about your needs and what you want from a tent. And maybe think about those 3 points that I put out as an argument for probably going for a smaller tent. Again, there is no real right answer, and you've really got to look within yourself as to what suits you. This channel, all these tents are purchased by me with my own money, and I will buy a tent as long as it suits my criteria, unless it's something I'm going to have a challenge on, like a small OEX tent, for example, that I used recently. Sometimes we have to push ourselves a little bit out of our comfort zone to see if this actually suits us. But there we go, there's my 3 reasons why I think you should use a wild camping tent, and my reasons why I use them a lot on this channel. Maybe you disagree, that's perfectly okay. We're all entitled to our opinion after all. So if you found this video in any way helpful, please consider liking, leaving a comment and subscribing to the channel. It really does help the channel moving forward. And if you have subscribed, thank you very much for subscribing. It's great to have you along for this journey of me on my YouTube channel. I love it, I really do. I love the challenge, and although I've been awake all night, been at work, and now I'm doing this and I've had about 3 minutes of sleep, I love doing YouTube. So if you're watching up to this point, thank you very much, and I hope to see you again in another video very soon. Bye bye for now. Hello everybody, welcome to It's a Camping Thing. My name is Paul, and for this video I've come out fluffed it up already. Blah, 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 blah. Thought I'd explain my reasons why I prefer to use that didn't work. yeah. My brain's not in gear this morning. The 14th as I record this. Anyhow, I will get there. I will get there. I promise you. I promise you. Ew, that's cold. Ow. Anyhow, that's a big dog. I'll wait for the big dog to go. See, this is why I never brought Buster up here, because it is really popular with big dogs, all their families, and some people just don't care, do they? They just let the dogs do whatever they want to do. And don't even know where that dog is. It's huge. It's about the size of a horse. Put a saddle on it and go for a ride. That's huge. That's mad. I'd need a ladder to get on that thing. And my second reason why I think you should use a wall camping tent over a big family tent is, I've forgotten. This is the problem with working nights and not having any sleep. And then filming in the day, and then editing, and then getting about half an hour sleep before you go to work the next day. Not good. And my second reason, I keep putting one up. It's very confusing. And my second reason why I think you should use a wall camping tent is flexibility. I'm not going to do any flexing here. I lost track of thought. It's easily done at my age. 4 nights and staying there, and that's great. And you maybe have I've lost train of thought again. I've got so much mud on my boots. I literally need a pickaxe to get this mud off. Good, decent tent. And the pack size is about shoulder width apart, about so big. And yeah, I completely lost the train of thought again. Working nights, folks, it has its disadvantages, although, to be fair, I wouldn't be able to stand here and do this if I was working days. It's a whatever you bother.